Hi guys, Drew here. Today I want to talk a little about stormwater. Actually, I kind of want to talk about cleansing water in general, but stormwater in particular because that's the cleansing water I make and use. We had a little storm several weeks ago now. It was a nice little thunderstorm that lasted on and off all night. And I was able to collect some rainwater, and I made a quick little video of my process while doing that. So I'm going to share that first before I get into this part of the video. I'm going to be doing a video at some point on my stormwater. And I wanted to have this little bit just to show you. This is my kyanite, selenite mixture. They are both ground up, mixed together, ready to go whenever I need them. And then add in the storm water. And then I'll add in some essential oils. These are the oils that I personally use. But when I do the video, I will go over all of that. Shake it up real good. And now I will put this in my refrigerator where I store my storm water. I'm going to put it in the back because it needs to set for at least a month before I use it or sell it or anything of that nature. And yeah, that's my stormwater. So cleansing sprays are made for the purpose of cleansing, and they can be made of any kind of water, really. You could use tap water, distilled water, moon water, any kind of water that you bless and charge in a particular way. They're for cleansing ourselves, our tools, our environment, what have you. There are many cleansing sprays on the market, and people have their own formulas and ideas and methods for how to do so. My husband and I have long made cleansing waters. And after a point, we started to sell them. And my cleansing waters originally looked like this, the under label. It's kind of hard to see. All handwritten and everything. Right now, this has rue water in it. I made rue water. And then these are ones I used to make that were stone charged. And I would take stones, very high vibrational stones that I owned, and use them to charge the water. Stones that weren't necessarily in everybody's budget or at everybody's disposal. My husband long ago made me this. It's mandrake water. There are so many kinds of water you can make, and they don't have to be specifically for cleansing. My rue water is not for cleansing at all, and neither is the mandrake water, although they can be used for that purpose. I happen to live on the southern east coast of North Carolina. It takes maybe 10 minutes to drive to the beach from my house. And as a result, while it gets cold and gets below freezing, it rarely snows. On the rare occasion it does snow, it doesn't stick. It just is a flurry through the air. And on the even rare occasion that it sticks, it's usually just a couple centimeters. But with that big storm that came through on the East Coast earlier last month, we got quite a bit of snow. We actually got a few inches of snow, and it stuck around for days, and I just couldn't pass it up. I took my pitcher out that I get my rainwater in, and I filled it to the top with snow. And this is every drop of that snow, because of course once it melts, it's not even half of what it was. And I put a nice chunk of rose quartz in, and a Palo Santo, and I put some rose oil in. And this is personal for my and my husband's use, our family's use. And it is love cleansing water, love cleansing snow water. I have these little leftover hand sanitizer spray bottles, and I filled that with the love cleansing water, a little chip of raw rose quartz in there as well, one for me and my husband, and it's just for our personal use. My point is that when you make a cleansing water, there's no one way to do it. Customize it to your needs, to your desires, to what you want and what you like. So I want to talk about why specifically I choose storm water. Okay, as water vapor condenses, it releases heat. And heat is, of course, a form of energy. And as a result, a lot of energy is created during thunderstorms, as well as hurricanes. And I will collect on hurricanes as well. As a matter of fact, this water, this isn't the one that's in the back of my fridge that I just collected. This is an older batch, and it's from a tropical storm. Being that I live on the East Coast, we get those. And during a hurricane, there's the latent heat in the water in conjunction with the evaporation of the water creates a lot of heat, and thus this energy of the hurricane itself. And of course, during a hurricane, you have all those high winds, and there's a lot of energy going on in there as well. So stormwater essentially is already supercharged before I do anything to it, energetically speaking. So I just go out, like I showed you in the video, when there's a storm, a hurricane, what have you, and put my little pitcher out, and the water falls straight from the sky into my pitcher. There's no need to worry about it being gross, because I don't collect it from puddles or anything. I immediately bring it in and get it sorted out. I store it in the fridge. This is not necessary, it's just a preference for me. Now, water will get stagnant and gross, but because we use essential oils in the process, we don't really have to worry about that. So as you saw in the video, when I bring my water in, I take and add a mixture of kyanite and selenite ground up. And actually this one has black tourmaline in it as well. But since the black tourmaline is such a difficult stone to grind up into a fine powder, I don't have extra just sitting around all the time. But here's my ground kyanite that I keep, because we sell that too, and my ground selenite. And as you can tell, the ground selenite is much easier to work with. It's much easier to grind selenite than kyanite, so I always have a ton more of the selenite. But I put that in the bottom of the jar, and then essential oils come in. And we have essential oils that we use particularly for our product. But again, I used rose oil on the love oil, the love snow water. This one is tea tree. You can't really see because of the light, but you could use tea tree. This is sage oil, lavender oil, rosemary oil, and all the last four that I mentioned. Not only do they smell nice, but they have purifying, cleansing properties to them that add that to the water. Any kind of oil you want to use, really, you can. And if it's a cleansing water that you're using for magical, spiritual purposes, I would take into account, personally, what the properties of that oil, or, like if you wanted to use Palo Santo, like for instance with the snow water, because it has turned, the Palo Santo has turned my water an off color. But that does not bother me, because I don't spray cleansing sprays directly on myself or directly on my altar cloths or what have you. I would spray it like out in the air and walk into the mist, or out over my altar cloth and let it mist down onto it. I'll directly spray stones and stuff, but that's not going to be a problem with discoloration. But if you don't want discoloration, you could use a Palo Santo oil instead of the Palo Santo wood. Again, you customize them to what you want. So I infuse my waters, as I've said, with the kyanite, selenite, and the black tourmaline. We do this for at least a month before we sell them or use them. The black tourmaline is like an energetic vacuum cleaner, and it clears disharmony. The kyanite is very high vibrational, and it protects the auroric field. And the selenite clears etheric blockages and facilitates healthy energetic flow. Once it's time to bottle our water, which looks like this, when it's for sale, we add a small piece of quartz and a small piece of amethyst to the bottle. And we do that because quartz encourages clarity on all levels. It opens all the chakras and energy pathways. And amethyst, of course, is great for purification and protection. So our water has many layers. And it says it clears disharmonious energy and raises spiritual energy and vibration. And that is the purpose of our storm water. Now, you don't have to use cleansing water purely for cleansing. As I've said, there are many purposes, and ours personally can be used for both cleansing and for charging. And my love, I use this when my feelings are personally hurt, when I need to be cleared of some disharmonious emotion or feeling that is plaguing me in that moment. You could make a warding water, add some chilies to it, and that is it's a protection water now. There are so many magical uses for water. Money and prosperity. Add some citrine or a tonka bean in your water, some basil. Healing. Relationships. My love water would probably be good in that area. Or personal transformation. Again, it's going to depend on the ingredients you use. And again, you can influence the water in different ways. Making moon water, making sun water, using storm water, using snow water, using even salt water from the ocean, or water from a river running by your home, or what have you. All of these things can bring a different energy and a different vibe to your water. I have some stuff sitting here. Whenever we go and we do shows where we set up and we vend, we bring this. And this I use this is our storm water, but I use this just for cleansing. Like, my desktop here is glass, and I work with polymer clay, and I will spray the heck out of the glass top and wipe it down and clean it. So I don't use this particular bottle for spiritual cleansing as much as I use it for actual cleansing, which has a spiritual element to it. But I mean, I'm not spraying myself with this. This is the same thing. It's our storm water in my little oil can that I got at a thrift store. But I use this for spiritual cleansing, and I'll just mist the area, which this is great for that. It comes out in a very fine mist, and I'll mist myself, the area to be cleansed, what have you. And I've got my little stones here. I've got the quartz and the amethyst and the rose quartz for the different applications. But yeah, making cleansing water is a fairly easy thing to do. Again, you can buy many on the market. We ourselves sell our storm water in our Etsy shop. And while anybody can make it, I continue to make ours and sell it because, again, not everybody lives in a place where hurricanes come, and not everybody has time or the desire to make cleansing water. And I really love our cleansing water. And so I want to continue sharing that. But in the meantime, should you seek to make your own, it's super easy to do. And I completely encourage you to do so. So thanks for listening to me gab on. Hopefully that was a coherent video. It was kind of on the fly. And until next time, much love and gratitude.